to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is splitting of Israel. The prophets say that if America splits Israel, God will split America. So the first question is, does the peace plan split Israel? This is from the mouth of Jared Kushner, the author of it, that works and serves President Donald Trump.
And getting Israel to agree to a Palestinian state and also agreeing to a map is an amazing first step that will make us be more closer to peace in the near future.
Now listen again.
And getting Israel to agree to a Palestinian state. And getting Israel to agree to a Palestinian state.
So absolutely positively it does split Israel, because when they say a two-state solution, a Palestinian state, that is actually giving the Palestinians some of Israel. Now, what does God think of that? Well, it's God's land. He put His name on it, and He allows the Israelis to live there, but it's God's land. And so when we take God's land and force Israel to give it to a godless nation, a godless people, well, what does God think of that? President Trump concluded his presentation at about 1 p.m. Eastern Time yesterday, and about an hour and 10 minutes later, there was a massive earthquake, 7.7. Of course, 7 is God's number, so I think that is God putting His signature on it. 7.7 earthquake struck Jamaica and shook Florida. Well, what's so important about Florida? Well, Trump's residence is no longer in New York, it is in Florida. So that is God shaking Trump's residence, saying, I'm putting a shot across the bow. I'm letting you know that you are making a big mistake. The headline reads, Powerful magnitude 7.7 earthquake strikes near Jamaica and Cuba. Buildings shake in Miami. Buildings shake in Miami. Headline, Magnitude 7.7 earthquake smashes Jamaica. A violent earthquake and a magnitude 7.7 has struck near the island of Jamaica, shaking the island ferociously, doing severe damage. Reports of injuries and loss of life are already pouring in. Zechariah 12:12 says, Behold, I make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about it, when they shall be in the siege both against Judah and Jerusalem. And in that day I will make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. And, here it is, all that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered against it. In other words, if you hurt Israel, if you mess with Israel, God is going to cut you in pieces, and I think that is saying it literally. Here's a prophecy of Donald Trump becoming president by Sundar Selvaraj. Now listen to part of what was said. I saw the spirit of Mr. Donald Trump come, Abraham looking at me, and said, This man will be the next president of the United States of America. God is putting things right in this country, and America must stand with Israel. It is our solemn call. Americans' call is to stand together with Israel, to be like a big brother protecting over the little brother. Americans' call is to stand together with Israel, to be like a big brother protecting over the little brother. Joel 3:2 says, I will also gather all nations, Armageddon, I will gather all nations, and will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I will plead with them there for my people, and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations, and parted my land. That's the dividing of Israel. It will happen. Remember, Shane Warren was told, I heard a booming voice in behind my ear that said, They divided my land, now I will divide their land. Back to Prophet Sundar Selvaraj, November 30, 2011. I was fasting and praying for 3 days, and I saw an open vision. A mighty angel with a drawn sword appeared before me and said, quote, Israel will be betrayed by her closest friend, and the nation that will betray Israel, the same fate will happen to her. A map of the United States appeared before the angel. The angel pulled back his sword and stuck it into the center of the United States and said, quote, The nation that will be responsible for dividing the land of Israel will likewise be separated into two. East Jerusalem will become the capital for the Palestinians, and West Jerusalem will become the capital of Israel. And that's exactly what they said in the Trump peace plan just yesterday. Maurice Sklar. Then, in my horror, a massive sword came smashing down on Lady Liberty. When it hit the top of her head, there was a blinding flash of light, and the sword split her in two, right down the middle. Then the sword came again and again against her. It divided her in pieces, As the sword would finish each strike, fires would burst forth. I heard terrible explosions. The vision of the statue ended with an earthquake as it was hacked in pieces and sunk into the harbor. December 25th, 2016, Prophet Sundar Salvarez again. A new disease will eat the skin, will break out in Western countries as a form of punishment for touching the apple of God's eye. Have you noticed that at the same time this Trump peace treaty is coming out, there's a big pandemic hitting the world? Let's go on. I saw the sky darkened, and many brightly burning meteors began falling from the sky like a meteor shower. We haven't seen that yet, but remember, the prophecy said a meteor would hit near Mona Island and basically split America. So all of this is fitting together. Let's go on. Trees will burn in large numbers. Large areas will burn. Mountains will spew and burn. They will spew lava high in large quantity. Have you noticed all of the volcanoes that have been lighting up over the last few years? Let's go on. When the lava falls, it will fall on water reservoirs, drinking systems, causing the water to become bitter and undrinkable. That's straight out of Revelation. Now let's jump to April 15, 2002, dream given to my wife, Prophet Leslie Johnson of the Prophecy Club. We call it Arafat in the hospital. I have given the summary many times, but most of the time I haven't given the whole dream. But today, there's some important things in the whole dream. So here's the whole dream. In this dream, I saw Mary Jean Stevens and I ministering at a meeting. Mary Jean is Hayseed Stevens' wife. Hayseed is the man God told that the largest oil field in the world is located at the southwest end of the Dead Sea. While we were ministering, Mary Jean got a call from Hayseed and said, "Mary Jean, you need to get home. War is about to break out here in Israel." Now, you remember that. That was war. That night at the meeting, I saw myself sleeping. I had a dream within a dream, and I saw a news report on television that announced, here it is, Israel had given the Palestinians a state. So you heard the word war associated with Palestinian state. Let's go on. I heard the Lord say, "You must tell everyone that oil is going to come forth soon. It will cause the Jewish people to fight back for their land." There was about 8 of us that were discussing this dream. We needed to find a place to talk. And the man told us to follow him. Everyone is eager to find out more about this dream. We all walked through what appeared to be an airport waiting area. As I walked through, I noticed a lot of Jewish people. I could tell by the way they were talking and visiting. I passed by one woman. I noticed she was reading a small newspaper like the Jerusalem Post. I was drawn to what she was saying. I heard her say with an accent, "Arafat is in the hospital." She didn't say why, but she seemed pleased he was in the hospital. Now, that's an important thing because that ties in with the other dream that where she was told he would die in the hospital, and he did. Let's go on. We made our way through the crowd into a small room used for an office. Inside this small room was a woman already sitting there. I think this represents the church, the American church that just can't seem to hear things that you hear on this Prophecy Club program. She was an older woman who would not get up to let us meet privately. However, as we began to talk and visit, she kept saying, "Huh? Huh?" We decided finally she just couldn't hear very well, so we let her sit there, and we went on with our meeting. And that's so many true. There's so many people listening to Prophecy Club, they just can't understand it. Let's go on. We shut the small sliding door behind us. The man who we had followed into the room said, "Don't worry about the people outside the waiting room," meaning the world. "Even if they could hear us, they will not understand and think what we were saying is foolishness anyway." Now, let's stop a second. See, I wrote a letter to President Trump, and I put this sort of stuff in the letter telling him, if you split Israel, God is going to split America. And you know what? I understand that if you write a letter to the president, you always get an answer. I never got an answer from the first one, nor the second letter. I never got even a takahak, or "we think you're crazy." We didn't get any kind of response at all. Now, I'd like to think that's because it was immediately ushered up to his desk where he got to look at it. But that's probably not what happened. Probably people in high places are not listening. They don't know how to hear the voice of God. Just like when Trump released his peace plan, and a little over an hour later, his home is shook by an earthquake, he should say, whoa, wait a minute. Is that the voice of God? Does God talk in earthquakes? You better know that he does. But of course, Too many people are in the world, and they don't know how God talks. And God talks, they didn't listen, but that does not stop his judgment coming. Let's go on. Even if they could hear us, they will not understand what we were saying. They would think it would be foolishness. So we have so much more information than they do, and a deeper understanding of what's really going on, they will not pay us any attention. Once inside, this man with high connections in Israel said, "All right, Leslie, tell me your dream." I told him that Israel will give the Palestinians a state, but it will be a temporary arrangement to give the Jews enough time to regroup and get their armed forces prepared. I told him oil will come forth quickly. The discovery of large amounts of oil will make all the Jewish people willing to fight for their land. It will lead to a major war, almost like the whole world would get involved in this war. It will include many countries. Now, my guess is that's probably World War III. So let me summarize. Arafat will go into the hospital and die there. That was part of the prophecy she didn't reveal at this time. Israel will give the Palestinians a state. The Palestinian state would be a temporary measure to allow the Israelis time to strengthen their military. Oil would be discovered in Israel. It will make the Jews willing to fight for the land. Israel and America will go against most of the rest of the Arab world. December 1, 2011, Maurice Sklar. He says, the Lord says, the American dollar is about to lose 30% more of its present value. This will be the second to drop. Now, you remember what Shane Warren was told. Worthless dollars blowing in the wind, worthless as leaves, was associated with an earthquake, was associated with the dollar falling. Remember all that? Okay, let's go on. This drop will cause great economic distress upon our nation. The church will be shaken, and many will wake up spiritually and cry out to me. Well, that's what I was told. As judgment hits, so will the miracles. There will also be looting, rioting, and terrorism in our land. There is an even greater financial disaster that is coming upon Europe that will collapse the euro, cause pain and chaos there. Germany will refuse to prop up the euro anymore. Basic needs in the poor European nations will be threatened. Many will lose their money overnight as the stage is set for the financial takeover of the Antichrist system. Now, let me rephrase what he's saying. Many will lose their money overnight as the global financial Antichrist system comes into place. That's what he's really saying. And that is the QFS system, and I write about that in my new book, Miss the Mark, which you do want to get. But in other words, that's all in the process of coming into play right now. Everything is happening. So that's my point. It's all kind of happening right now. Let's go on. This is imminent, and the dollar will also follow, although it will survive for a season more. The great revival will also begin. That's what I've been saying. Again, you need to get signed up to come to our Sevenfold Miracle Crusades at sevenfoldmiraclecrusades.com. The great revival will also begin. God has hidden his holy apostles and prophets for this present hour. There will be great outpourings of supernatural provision, miracles, and healings in various places. These areas will become cities of refuge and places of refuge for God's people. There is coming an all-out war in the Middle East. That's what Leslie was shown too. As the neighboring Arab nations will come against Israel, that's what Leslie was told too, with a sudden missile attack starting from the north with Hezbollah, Lebanon, and Syria. Other Arab nations will join. Israel will be hit from all sides at once, and there will be deaths and partial destruction of settlements, smaller cities to the north, some damage to Tel Aviv and Jerusalem as well. Israel will respond with great force, and limited nuclear weapons will release devastation upon the neighboring countries, particularly Lebanon. Damascus will be destroyed completely, as the scripture says, and the rest of Syria, as well as military strikes in Iran, Gaza, and even northern Egypt in the Sinai region. The resulting shaking of the West will then release a tremendous movement of Jews making Aliyah, in other words, returning back to Israel. There will no longer be security or stability as it has been up to now in America and Europe. Israel will emerge victorious from this war, I've been saying that for years, but hurt. However, the devastation inflicted upon the attackers will be 100 times worse than upon Israel. The spoils of this war will include much territory and will force the West to recognize the Holy God of Israel. It will emerge as the only stable country in the region. As again, I've been saying for years, Israel is going to get back all of the land. They'll emerge World War III as the great victor. America will be defeated. Many, even millions of Arabs will be killed. Islam will receive a mortal wounding by the Holy God of Israel. I'm taking Billy Graham home to heaven soon. Now remember, this is December 1, 2011. When you see this, know that my time of grace for the Gentile nations is coming to a close. Well, what he died 2-3 years ago? Prepare your hearts. The Lord is at the door to appear for his bride, the overcoming church, in this midnight hour. Pray for those who are trapped in darkness that God will reach in this time. Remember, I was told August 8th, 2015, this is the time of miracles. And I was shown that as the judgment hits, so will his miracles. And these are miracles that no one has seen going back to Adam. Sevenfold miracles. And I was also told the oil will be given to Israel wondrously, just like Joel 2:25 says. This comes from Pastor Massey. War in Israel will come soon. Israel will get back all of their land. Israel knows it has more oil than Saudi Arabia, but it has not been drilled yet. But this news has just not been released to the public yet. The Lord is going to give the wealth of the wicked to Saudi Arabia to Israel. Oil is located at the southwest end of the Dead Sea. Now, understand, he had never heard of Hayseed Stevens, never heard of Prophecy Club at the time. He did not know anything about this prophecy. This is what the Lord told him. So it's confirmation. Again, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let a thing be established. Oil is located at the southwest end of the Dead Sea. God is going to punish the Arabs for their crimes against Israel and Christians. He is going to cause the oil to flow underground to Israel. Now let's go to November 22, 1995, Dimitri Duduman. It was as if Israel was in war. A tall man came and took me by the hand and said, "Come, let me show you the holy city." When he reached the holy city, all of it was covered with a black netting from top to the bottom. On top, at its peak, the city had a black flag. Now, I think he's referring to the New Jerusalem, the Golden City. After seeing these things, I asked the man that was with me, "What does this mean?" "Look up. You'll see the meaning," he said. When I looked up, I saw a black emblem on which there was a gold writing. It said, "Israel, you dishonor me. You mock me. You trust in the powers of men. Because you will not return to me, I have this against you. I will punish you with great fury. This is also to purify some who want to call upon me with a clean heart. The shame and blasphemy that they have caused has reached heaven." After I read these things, the man standing with me said, "Let us leave this place, or we'll be caught in the wrath." In other words, it's talking about a war coming to Israel. It seemed as I was suddenly on an American airplane, which is about to land with me in California. When I was about to disembark, I heard sirens, which howled loudly, and a great sound of many plane engines was heard. The man with me said, "The punishment draws closer. Look closely and read." When I looked up, I saw a written scroll appear before my eyes. The writing was in Romanian, which said, "American people, those of you who have dishonored and mocked me, you have brought hatred and blasphemy against my name throughout the world. For these things, my vengeance draws closer. As my children, those who have worshipped me with all their hearts, I will fight before them. I will give them victory and safety." That's you and I, okay? "I will separate those who have worshipped me from those who have not, as I separated Goshen and Egypt." I tried to read it once more, but it rolled together too quickly. The noise of the engines grew even louder. The man beside me turned to me and said, "These planes are loaded with atom bombs, and no one and nothing will be able to stop them." Then, suddenly, a great number of black planes lifted off the ground like a flock of birds. I knew the planes were American, but I had no knowledge what their purpose was or what they were supposed to do. Now, obviously, this is the Russian attack on America. Then the written scroll was thrown before me. I stepped closer to pick it up, but when I drew near, I saw that it burned with a blue flame. The flame began to climb to the sky. As we're looking at the flame, I heard a voice coming from it saying, "My word is righteous. I am the Christ who has brought this news to you. Do not be quiet. Tell the American people all that I've told you and all that I have revealed to you ahead of time. For the destruction which is coming over them, I did not allow to come unannounced. The punishment is even at the door. The man beside me spoke again and said, "Look up." When I looked up, I could not see the sky because there were so many planes. The man said to me, "Thank the Lord for what he has shown you." Then I began to pray and thank God. While I was praying, I heard a prophecy for myself. Get ready and sanctify yourself, you and yours, that you and yours may not take part in the trials that are ahead. That's for you and I too, by the way, brothers and sisters. That is why I've shown you these things. I've shown you what is to come in a short while. All you have seen, it's at the door, because of the sin and wickedness that have reached the throne of God's mercy. Then there was great lightning and thunder. I fell to the ground and was awakened from my sleep. Brothers and sisters, it appears that 2020 is probably, I didn't say is, probably going to be the year that many of these prophecies, these last day prophecies, are going to come to pass. We've been talking about a Middle East peace plan. It's arrived. We're talking about how it will split Israel, and if it splits Israel, God will split America, and it's just about to arrive. We've been talking about worthless dollars as leaves blowing in the wind, and that is associated with this big earthquake. We've been talking about 100,000 bad guys rounded up, suitcase nukes in retaliation. A virus stops public air transportation. We've been telling you all of these things, and now it appears that is even at the door. So what do you do? Well, I'd recommend you join our Fast Track team, but if you're listening to this, and this doesn't make you turn the channel, if you're listening to this, and this touches your heart, that is God calling you into his vineyard. He's sending you into his vineyard because he's been training you for you. Think about it. You've been training you for years. You've had a thirst for prophecy. You know what I'm talking about. You know about that call in your heart, but we need to get you trained. You can't just jump out and do this, or you're going to get your wings clipped. You can have some pastor or somebody going to come up someplace, and they're going to set you down, and they're going to dress you this way and cut you left and cut you right because you're not doing some things right. And that might be actually in order. However, that's why we're called to do these crusades. I'm not a pastor, though I pastor a church. I'm not a radio host, although I do a radio program. I am designed to bring in miracle crusades. That's my call. That's what the Lord has told me. He has told me I'm to raise up an army of prophecy teachers working miracles. And I believe the Spirit of the Lord is telling you right now, you need to be at this Sevenfold Miracle Crusade. Why do we call it Sevenfold Miracle Crusades? Because we know if it's not this year, one of these years, those sevenfold miracles are going to hit. We are preparing an army of prophecy teachers to walk in miracles. And that's what we're doing at this crusade. My wife Leslie is just about completed with her School of the Prophets manual. You are going to learn things, I dare say, probably not taught anyplace. We're going to help you to be able to understand the prophetic, to hear from God, dreams, visions, angel visits, to be able to walk in that correctly, to be able to hear the voice of God and to walk in miracles, and to be able to teach Bible prophecy. It's urgent. You do three things. One is get my book, Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy, so you can know that you're teaching Bible prophecy accurately. Two, get the book, Miss the Mark, because the most important information on the planet is simply don't take the mark of the beast. Three, get signed up at the sevenfoldmiraclecrusades.com for the crusade. Look, this is not a vacation. You're not watching TV here. This is just not entertainment. Look, are you going to wait until the earthquake hits? Are you going to wait until the dollars are blowing in the wind? Are you going to wait until the 100,000 people are arrested? Are you going to wait until you actually see some of these prophecies actually become to pass before you start saying, okay, wait a minute, time for me to wake up? Or can you be ahead of the game? Can you be ahead of the crowd? Can you see down the road where most people aren't looking? And can you get yourself prepared to serve in the vineyard? sevenfoldmiraclecrusades.com. The books can be found at prophecyclub.com. Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy and Miss the Mark. By the way, Miss the Mark has now been shipped, so it should be arriving here shortly. prophecyclub.com for the books, Sevenfold Miracle Crusades to get signed up for the crusade. Do it now. Do it today. Don't wait. Pray. Here, Lord, give them the money and the days off, all the wherewithal to get to this crusade in Jesus' name. Pray. God will provide. God will provide. It's not about you anyway. Look, you're going there for His kingdom. Will He not provide for those He wants to be there? He will. Just pray and ask. Why should you come to the Sevenfold Miracle Crusade? Good question. We're going to get you prepared to teach prophecy, walk in sevenfold miracles. We all start our fast at 8 p.m. Sunday night and break it together at the Passover meal when the meeting begins Wednesday, April the 8th. We all observe the Feast of Passover Unleavened Bread, First Fruits, asking God for miracles to begin. Leslie will anoint you with oil to receive a prophet's anointing and teach you through her school of the prophets, preparing you to walk in miracles. I will anoint you with oil to receive the spirit of revelation I received when I memorized the book of Revelation, and I will teach you how to teach and understand Bible prophecy. Deliverance sessions are also available. You'll also receive a personal prophecy from a senior prophet and have the opportunity to get water and spirit baptized. 3.5 awesome days preparing you to teach prophecy and walk in sevenfold miracles. Registration begins at $350 or $400 at the door. Go to sevenfoldmiraclecrusades.com. sevenfoldmiraclecrusades.com. In my new book, Miss the Mark, I expose the 9 deceptions the beast will use to deceive, if it were possible, even the very elect. Since Lucifer is only given 3.5 years to rule the world, but given 6,000 years to prepare for it, is it possible he has set up a 9-point plan so well thought out, so cunning, will deceive all whose name is not written in the book of life? What would you do if you had to tell a person the most important thing in the world, but you knew they wouldn't believe you? What would you do? Would you tell them? I believe you would. But what is the most important thing in the world to tell a person? The answer is, don't take the mark of the beast, because those taking the mark do not get soul death, but eternal torment in hell. But how do you tell them? Give them Miss the Mark. It is designed to be given to anyone, even if they've never heard of the Bible, Jesus, even if they're in another religion. It takes them from a blank page to making sure they will never take the mark. It's thin and easy to read. 1 for 20, but don't do that. Instead, we make them available in lots of 10. 10 for 25, 20 for 40, 40 for 60. That's 1 for 20, but don't do that. 10 for 25, 20 for 40, and 40 for 60 at prophecyclub.com. That's Miss the Mark. Don't take the mark of the beast, prophecyclub.com. In 2017, God blessed me by helping me to memorize the book of Revelation just as a simple project. God showed me a secret door, which is based upon a single word found in Revelation and Leviticus, linking the feasts to the prophecies. When linked, a person enters into an understanding of Bible prophecy not previously known. Even though I've been in the world of Bible prophecy for 40 years, frankly, I did not know anything of what is in this book. One prophetic word described it this way: there is a lock that I have put over a word in the book of Revelation that I'm going to open to you. It will turn so many books written on the end-time message into obsolete books. That's this book. 2 amazing prophecy charts on the back flap, 12 inches by 9 inches. Imagine a book on prophecy that brings a fresh, new, accurate perspective. I don't want you to get one book for $20. I want you to get 5 books for $30 or 10 for $55. It's called The Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy, available at prophecyclub.com. The Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy. 1 for 20. No, don't do that. You want to get 5 for 30 or the best deal, 10 for 55. prophecyclub.com. You can have instant access to over 200 titles on a recurring monthly subscription of $20 or yearly for $200 at watchprophecyclub.com. Download our free app from the App Store.